I was I was getting ready to suggest that we let me get home to Miami where everything works, right? And we do this tomorrow or something, but
No, we're here. We're ready to go,
okay.
and we're on, man.
All
So
right. Let me just get it live on Facebook since that's where everybody's expecting us to be. So where are we now? Poop, 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 poop. There we go. Okay, that should work. Oh God, no. Looking up because I have the computer connected to the TV in the room. So I'll
so
look a little bit weird while I do that.
that's fine. That's fine, man. Which group is this going to be live in?
It's going to be on my page.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be on my page. So um the raw recording will be immediately available, or you can wait until I edit it and send you the edited version. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I guess we could do that.
Okay, yeah, because I'll set it up for like I'll pretty it up a little bit. Not that you are not pretty enough as it is, my friend,
Yeah,
right?
I am aging pretty well.
Well, you know what, when I saw, was the name of your place, Chuck, always Integrated Martial
No,
Athletics?
no.
It wasn't.
It was Westchester Martial Arts Academy for many years.
Right. So when I saw that, I go, I see what the emphasis is on. The emphasis is, so correct me if I'm wrong. The emphasis is on martial art, not just as a self-defense thing, but also as an athletic endeavor.
Right. I mean, are we on? Because I mean, this is going to be a good conversation. So, you know,
I'm trying to make sure. Yep. Looks like we're live on Facebook. Yeah.
okay. So,
Yeah. So I should do the official welcome to episode number 322 of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues with my good friend and associate Chuck Giangreco, who I've known for I have no idea how many years. All right. And we finally got to, as they say in the martial art world, touch hands last year in Dallas. And that was the first time you and I had ever done anything physically together. And people had no idea.
yeah. First things, it's an honor that I'm on your podcast and sitting here talking to you while you're out there in LA. I mean, I want to be you when I grow up, man, getting all that good training in. But yeah, it was a tremendous experience and learning experience for me to demo with you. Just because you're so many generations ahead of me in material skill and all that, and to be able to keep pace a little bit it was amazing. And listen, you made me look good. That's all I can say. You
Nah.
made me look good.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if people heard us talking about the change in name from Westchester Martial Arts to Integrated Martial Athletics. And I know you wanted to get right into like the professional side of it, let's call it.
Yeah, I mean, because you got a seminar to go to, so
Actually, no, there is no, well, there is a seminar this weekend, but I'm just doing regular class.
got you, man.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, Francis Fong's going to be here. Okay, so the short story is 34 years in martial art
yeah,
and a school owner for 23 years.
that's correct. Yeah.
So in the 11-year difference, did you ever do the school as a side hustle, as the cool kids say?
No, no, I never did that.
Uh,
I was a full-time personal trainer and strength coach. Throughout the late '90s and early 2000s. I was a physical therapy assistant while working my way through my master's in exercise physiology, and
okay,
I had come to I guess a crossroads about what I wanted to do. I mean, the two biggest things, uh, actually, no, martial arts is still like the biggest thing.
right.
And, you know, even when I was a personal trainer through New York City and all that, I was still mostly holding pads for people and doing conditioning work like that. And it's always been a part of me. And I figured if I'm going to go do something for the rest of my life and make money for the rest of my life, it's going to be on my own terms
Mm,
and what I want to do. And I had, all these cool guy acceptances to different universities to go on to full PT school for licensing.
right.
And much to, my parents, shock and amazement, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open a martial arts school. And, at that point I had, no idea what that even entailed.
Right.
But, to make an old joke, smart like tractor, strong like bull is I think I was just too stupid and too motivated to fail. And, both my wife, Kara, and I turned it into a very, very, very successful endeavor um, moving on. So
Yeah.
it's been a great ride. It's been a great ride.
So would you recommend it to somebody if somebody came to you today when we get off this call, somebody comes to you and goes, "Hey, Chuck, I heard you say to Dwight, you guys run a very successful thing. So what do you think? Should I do it?" You would say what?
I would go yes, but
Yeah, yeah,
the answer is yes, but
right.
it is because I think you sent me questions before of like education, certifications, achievements, obstacles. I'm like, the obstacle is the way, my friend. I mean, the obstacle is the way. Uh, Running a business, regardless if you're a coffee shop or a martial arts school, is every day is game day and every day is another day in the war. So you have to be prepared and just be massively resilient and adaptable and intelligent in every step of the way, just like being a good martial artist.
Right.
So uh, I would say yes, go and do it. But actually, I was having a discussion with a mutual friend of ours, kind of about that exact same thing. I'm like, just do it, and just be prepared for the ups and the downs, and ask questions, use your judgments, and best of luck,
Right.
because it's a different environment than it was 23 years ago, too.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'm doing the calculation in my head. So if you've been school owner for 23 years, you
Yeah,
got your start then in
2002.
2000, 2001, 2002.
Yeah, 2002.
Okay. So now I'm trying to remember what I was doing in 2002 because I saw your picture at Michael Perella's stuff.
Yeah,
Now, my experience with Michael Perella was when he started the I Love Kickboxing licensing program because
yeah.
I was the Kendall Miami licensee
I
for I Love
remember.
Kickboxing,
I
right?
remember. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then I think as Michael's um coaching business grew, I saw him hanging out with people like Craig Ballantyne and what have you. And I know Craig from my days hanging out in the Dan Kennedy world,
Mhm.
right? You know, Patrick Consing and
Yeah,
I, right? You know, Nick Sakoulas went to a couple Dan Kennedy. Now, do you know Greg Horton in Maine?
I just know the name.
Okay, yeah. So Greg Horton is another guy who went to a couple of Dan Kennedy things. So, okay, so you didn't know Michael Perella when you started.
I got introduced to Michael through a mutual friend of ours, and then we became one of their original licensees, and then a franchisee as that went on.
Oh, so you were I Love Kickboxing Eastchester or something?
Yeah, yep.
Right, that's true. I forgot that. I forgot that. Okay. All right. Well then so and that was right when you started.
No, that came about, the franchise itself came about, I believe it was 2015, 2016. So we were still in a licensee up until that. Up until then, we were still teaching martial arts and had the kickboxing program as a side,
Right,
side endeavor. But
right.
we decided to go on to the full franchise mode. Again, I believe it was that 2016 timeframe. So
Okay.
that, I mean, obviously no disrespect intended, but that franchise was fraught with issues and had since collapsed upon itself, and then COVID happened. So, we needed to pivot and do something different.
Hmm.
And then, in 2020, integrated martial athletics.
Right.
And as you were asking offline, is yeah, we as martial artists need to be, physically strong, physically capable, and look at the general physical health and development and of being able to do this as a lifelong endeavor. And it's super interesting. Like tomorrow morning is Saturday, obviously. And we joke that our Saturday morning is the AARP class because we have the average age. The average age in my Muay Thai class on Saturday mornings is 50.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, it's guys are guys our age
Yeah.
still hitting pads, still sparring, still putting that work in to just be the most capable versions of themselves that they can be.
Because that's where it's at,
Yeah.
right? As opposed to the 18 to 30-year-old whippersnapper with dreams of UFC.
Well, I remember I was an 18-year-old and 15-year-old whippersnapper, so I'm not going to hate on them. And we have a fair amount of whippersnappers,
Right.
in there. But no, we train them all. And I've been, blessed over my entire career. For the older people listening, they'll get this reference. It's like this is gonna be like my Lou Gehrig speech. I'm the luckiest man on the face of the earth. I had the absolute privilege to train everything from, little kids to giving them the start to be great adults, all the way up to, you know, the tip of the spear of our United States military. I've been able to do it all with amazing, amazing mentors and amazing instructors. So I'm incredibly blessed, and
Yeah.
hopefully, when they're watching this, I'm still making them proud and going, "Hey, I'm here. I'm still flying the flag."
So, okay. So, unfortunately, we have that little bit of a time crunch, but so you would encourage someone to start a martial arts school, but so the but um tell me um a little bit about that journey. Start in Westchester
Mhm.
and the learning as you go, right? Because
Right.
it's not like you knew everything that you needed to know to be a successful school owner when you started. So,
No.
right? So along the way, are there any like formative experiences that come to mind?
Yeah, the first one is never get involved in a franchise.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know, I
Yeah.
I was a licensee. When the
Yeah.
franchise thing came along, I was like, right. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, not going to speak ill of anyone or anything, but also not gonna, we'll leave it at that. So
Okay.
But like any other business, learning, budget, marketing budgets, et cetera, so forth, payroll, taxes, all that, super boring stuff because it's not just about arm locks and not just about, uh, punching and kicking
Right.
um, from that nuts and bolts standpoint. But you to be able to be a good communicator and a good teacher and actually deliver on your promises is what it is all about. And when I say deliver on your promises, I mean you're coming to me for training with all things of what you want to do. Hey, I want to be better at this. I want to be better at that. I'm going to do everything in my power and beyond to make you better, to make you the best version of yourself that I could possibly, help you achieve, whether you're with me for, you know, 1 month or with some of my guys who have been with me for 20 years.
Right.
So you have to have both halves of that of being, you know, a nuts and bolts business person with all the nerdy stuff and all your spreadsheets. You have to be a master communicator. You have to be a great teacher, and you have to actually be able to do what you say you do.
Right.
And that's not just about submitting the new class white belt, but it's about am I going to make um, Hussein, who's one of my 70-year-old guys who just came in, as a black belt from a former another system,
Uh-huh.
to still keep his training thing alive and still having him make progress at that age and with that experience level. So
Right.
just helping people be better.
How do you remember when you first heard about and how you learned to take a phone call?
Um, you know, it's kind of weird because there was so many, different ways to take phone calls, and there's
Right.
so many things. And I'll tell everyone this now. I think you and I are more fortunate just at our age that we actually had to speak on the phone to people, like on the regular. Like we had to, you know, call people to make reservations for restaurants and all kinds of other things, and
Right.
actually calling the girl up to ask her out on a date,
Yep.
some things like that,
Yeah.
where having the ability to authentically connect to people is key. Like I don't use any phone scripts. I haven't used a phone script in I don't even know how long uh, on that. So yeah, I'm not a fan of script unless, of course, you don't know how to speak to people.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I guess with your because if you were a personal trainer and physical
yeah,
therapist, so you would not have had, yeah, see, I came out of the airline industry.
mhm.
Um, so a lot of the talking that we did was explaining that machines, aka airplanes, break.
Yeah,
Right. So a lot of my conversation was like, this is why your flight is now 15 minutes late, you know? So get out of my face and let me do my work and I'll tell you when we're ready to go.
yeah,
I, yeah.
yeah.
Um, so okay, what about the website stuff back in the day? That was done for you? Did you have to learn how to do that yourself?
Yeah, I mean that was all done for me.
Okay.
Of
I
course, and I
see.
I
I
picked up
see.
and I picked up some stuff learning how to edit websites with different stuff, but
Right.
that honestly, that's not my wheelhouse. So if things that you can outsource
Hmm.
to another person, an
Hmm.
expert, do that.
Did you do that immediately, like hire staff, or was it ever just you or you and Kara
Yeah,
doing everything and
yeah,
then?
for years, probably since we are opening
Mhm.
until um, midway through like 2005, we hired our first, employee, which is amazing because he's Dan Honeywell. Uh, was a 19-year-old absolute specimen and tremendous martial art prodigy. And we're still training together today. So the guy that's in my YouTube videos
Yeah.
cracking those pads
Yeah.
is Dan Honeywell.
Wow.
20 years later, and it's it's
Wow.
kind of it's kind of funny because yeah, he's an absolute stud of an athlete, and he's warming up and he pulled his quad in one of the right before one of the videos, and I'm and he was like looking at like there was that one scene, and I think it was Superman 2, where Superman gives up his powers to be with Lois Lane, and he bleeds for the first time. He has no idea what's happening. He's like, what is this about? And I said, well, we're not as young as we used to be anymore, Dan. He goes, and he said, yeah, I'm 41. I'm like, well, there you go, buddy.
Yeah.
41. But he's actually a master coffee roaster. So also the other beverages that I'm drinking here, Coffee Bros organic coffee. It's
Wow.
tremendous. Coffeebros.com.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm amazed at how the I guess you could call it the private coffee industry has taken off in the few years. I mean, they're all over the internet. They're all
Yeah.
over podcasts, shows and what have you. So I will add them to my list. Um, okay, so now let's see. In 2002,
Mhm.
I would say that the JKD allure had already been in decline.
Yeah.
So,
To me, it never in decline because I came up wanting to train under Guru Dan and Asana. Like one of my life's ambitions, was to be a full instructor under Guru Dan. I mean, from the time,
which was it last year that you?
it was last year. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was sweet. That was sweet.
yeah, it's still pretty surreal because I still think I suck and all that. So it's pretty surreal. But I remember like, Black Belt magazine. I remember like 1996. I had first seen one of Paul Vunak's, full page ads,
Mhm.
and and I'm looking at that and going, wow. I mean, this dude is, you know, training these superheroes, from the Navy, and he's doing all this stuff. I want to do that, and I want to do that kind of stuff.
Right.
And in one of Vunak's VHSs, he had like a sizzle reel at the end, and one of them was a old school grainy video of Guru Dan doing a Kenjutsuko on him. And it's still, well, obviously to watch Guru Dan do Silat is still pretty, special. But to watch him Kenjutsuko, especially 1996. I
Yeah.
was, very early 20s, if that. I was like, holy crap, what was that? I need to be able to do that. So I had then said, you know what, I want to, leave the American kickboxing, the Tracy Kempo that I was doing, and
Okay.
I want to go and do that. So to me, I've been following, Guru Dan since, the very late 90s, I think 98, 99. So there was never a JKD decline for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was talking, I said that in more of a business sense because I
Mhm.
can tell you, um, I got my warehouse in 1988, I think it was.
Mm.
And then we moved to the first shopping center in 92. And I would say that 92 through maybe 99 or so, it sold itself.
Mm.
There was definitely you felt a shift when UFC 1 came about in 93. We definitely felt a
Mm.
shift, but there was not a large scale um, digression, right?
Mhm.
So, how do you make what we do, our martial art family, right? Or the group of martial arts that we train in, um, did you have to do anything special to make them relevant, or was relevance always in your messaging?
Uh, yeah, I think relevant was always in my messaging. Because
You're you're too smart for your own good, you know. Has your
uh,
wife ever told you that?
I've been told that occasionally. It's
But
it
that's
is
brilliant. That's
it
brilliant.
it is all about the messaging um, of it. And even though primarily now, on my schedule, I teach Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and Filipino martial arts. You can have all those conceptual truths of JKD is we wove throughout all of
Mhm.
that. So even though I'm teaching Muay Thai, there is the five ways of attack is always brought up in what I'm teaching in Muay Thai. You know, and the fact that attack by trapping, if we're going to use the five ways of attack, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is attack by trapping. The entire thing is a trapping based thing. Um, so maybe the delivery method that I have, like I no longer have a strict JKD class,
Right.
so to speak,
Right.
but it is alive and well in our teachings.
Yeah. Okay. So now you're smart enough to not get embroiled in the discussions that would automatically come up because of what you just said, right? Because
Yeah.
there is, I'll clue you in. There is a movement out there that espouses Bruce Lee did all the heavy lifting for us. And so we just have to do what Bruce did and everything will be fine.
I don't know where I should go with that,
Yeah.
but because I know I've messaged you and going, hey, there's a lot of drama out there. What is this about? I mean,
Yeah.
I was pretty insulated.
Yeah. Yeah. Stay where you are. Stay
Yeah,
where and how you are because they do not understand what you just said. The weaving throughout what you do of JKD principles, they do not understand that that is the foundation and everything else is born out of that. That's too elusive a concept for them.
it's here. I have. I'm trying to think of my little hand here. I have four, um, four people, four instructors of mine that have completely changed the way that I look at martial arts in general. And obviously that's Guru Dan and Asano. The next one in that is the late great Pamana Tuan Chris Sayoc, and of course my my mentor, my brother, my Tuhan is Harley Elmore, and my great friend John Shrek McPhee, the sheriff of Baghdad himself. And for those of you guys that saw him on Rogan and Sean Ryan, I'm his buddy from New York that he shouts out on the thing, just so you know. And yes, that's me. He's throwing the gummy bears too in the truck. So those four brilliant individuals. I'm going to distill this down to one thing. And now this is my cooking, so to speak. So
Mhm.
don't hold them responsible for me. Is at the end of the day, there is no stick fighting, knife fighting, ground fighting, fist fighting, gun fighting. There's only fighting. You have to be able to go through each of the permutations and each of the evolutions as quickly as it can. And it's like, Tuan Harley Elmore, teaches so well is how to hit hard, not get hit hard in return, how to control someone, not get control in return, how to seamlessly transition to a better weapon, a better tool, better time, and a better target. So that itself, you'll find the five ways of attack in every one of those things. So it is, even though, you know, we're not talking about JKD in the terms of, pistol and rifle combatives or integrated combatives. We're not obviously talking about Jeet Kune Do in some Filipino martial arts. When you look and you apply the lessons, you'll find the five ways of attack in all those things and realize there's pretty universal truths in all
Right.
combat.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Tell me about how you got into so it's law enforcement and military that you spent time with?
So, as again, me back to being the luckiest man in the world here is I was really, really blessed and fortunate to be training with Pamana Tuan Chris Sayoc in the early 2000s, and was such great, great days. I mean, with Tuan Harley Elmore and my wife Kara, we were there with the Sayocs, the Sayoc family, and those incredible, really revolutionary teachings.
Yeah.
So I'm beyond blessed on that. And uh, with those guys, I was, again, incredibly fortunate to be part of the SOG tactical group, and we got to train various superheroes. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
So whether you're a DC guy and like the Justice League or a Marvel guy like the Avengers, we did them both. So it was a tremendous honor and an amazing learning experience because, being able to, you know, get instant feedback and see what had to be distilled down for uses by certain individuals and certain groups
Right.
was a tremendous learning experience. It made me um, physically, very good and also more intellectually on how to structure those programs and deliver those programs as well. I will forever be indebted to those guys for the opportunities, the teachings, and I mean, just tremendous,
Yeah.
tremendous people.
Okay, so let me ask you this. 'Cause I just thought of this. So you have that group of superheroes.
Hmm.
You have the AARP group tomorrow
Hmm.
morning,
Yeah.
and then you also have, I'll call them the Little Dragons group.
I don't actually teach kids anymore. So
Who does?
I don't have kids. My integrated martial arts is 100% adults. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
when did that change?
When I relaunched, after the COVID lockdowns.
Okay, yeah.
So here's another hot take if we're talking about business is, people say the only way to be successful in martial arts is to teach, kids, and they're wrong.
They've always said that, and they were
Yeah,
always
he's
wrong.
wrong.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, they were always wrong. Okay, all right. Well, but my question still pertains.
Go ahead.
Do you have a formula for how to modify, what to focus on based on the group that's going to be on the receiving end?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when our attributes, decline, and they will do, because what's the toughest opponent you could ever face, and that's Father Time,
Yeah.
is from a combative structure, is only punch until you can elbow and only kick until you can knee. So always be going to a better tool as quickly as possible. Um, So from a physical fitness standpoint, I'm, as a kettlebell guy, I'm very, bullish on Turkish get-ups and swing mechanics
Mhm.
to keep everything moving as well it should, and to be moving under load and being as strong as you can possibly be and as mobile as possible. And, we hit pads. Do a lot more focusment work than tie pad work for a few reasons. One's because sometimes the older gentlemen and the older ladies gentlemen, the hips don't go like yours. I mean, you still got, like, great kicks. I mean, so the hips don't go like yours. So we'll do a
That's
lot more
because my
focusment work.
hips don't listen to my brain.
Yeah. And I do a lot of clinch work. So I like, whether it be, Thai clinch or, Greco-Roman or things like that is where I'm at. So, and, my own training and my own likes, I'm a big fan of C-Lot. So having lever systems and being able to clinch and hit like that is
Yeah.
is my personal sauce.
Okay. Seen. Hmm. All right. Um, I the reason why I asked you about the formulas is
Mhm.
because I think that without them, we would just be firing blanks if we're not careful, especially if you're trying to run a professional establishment, you know.
Mhm.
So, can you give me the highlights of the journey um, at your establishment? Somebody walks through the door, and are they given an are they given an orientation, or do you go with what they have in their mind about what who sets what it is that they're going to achieve? You or them?
It's kind of both. It's collaborative. And
Okay.
what I mean by that is like, you have someone coming in with a conception of what it is because they've watched UFC or they have, you know, fill in the blank here. And, we just, I'll just talk to them again, like a person. What is it that you're, you know, looking to do?
Yeah,
And the vast majority is people, want to, lose weight, relieve their stress, be able to protect themselves.
right.
And I'm like, cool, we got you. And if the just the demeanor and the orient and just the orientation is the demeanor of, hey, this is Coach Chuck. I'm going to, walk with you on this path. And the rest of the tribe here is going to walk with you on this path. I mean, it's a handshake hug. That's what we do. And I I don't have a formula. Like there's not like, who are some of those dudes like, like EFC or anything like that we were part of back in the day.
Yeah.
I think that I think that actually gave the industry it had its pluses and minuses, believe it at that.
Okay.
But what you're the dude you're talking to right now, Seafer Dwight, is the guy that'd be answering the phone and just doing your, hey, come on in. We got class tomorrow at 10:15. Let's get to training. There's no big orientation. It's, hit pads, tell jokes, have
Hmm.
fun. Let's get some sweat on and, be able to again, did you kill your clone? Which means, are you now better today than you were yesterday? Are you smarter? Are
Yeah.
you fitter? Are you more
Yeah.
capable? And you killed your clone and you told some jokes, and you know, we had a great time. And I've had guys and girls training me since the beginning that are still rocking and rolling with me. So I guess I've been doing something right.
Well,
So
yeah. Okay. So now I got to ask you this
yeah.
because, like, you just mentioned EFC. Now, there was a time in the martial art industry, in the professional martial art industry, where you, nobody knew what to do. Then a bunch of guys studied sales and marketing and became the coaches for the industry. And you almost had to belong to one of those organizations. Um, so whence cameth your courage to, I guess, turn your back on that stuff?
You know, I would have to say it was when we went to the franchise, world, because when you're looking how, you know, things like Orange Theory or F45 or any of those real brands work,
Yeah,
it's basically the complete opposite of everything that that early martial arts industry, did or does.
interesting.
Yeah, almost like diametrically uh, opposite of that. So we were happy to shed some of those practices
Mhm.
when we were doing it. And, you know, uh, it's all about, honestly, it's all about talking to people, you
Yeah.
know.
Hmm. That's that's interesting. I mean, we're gonna have to agree to do a follow-up on this because of my time constraints. I'm trying to keep a because you know me, I waited until the last minute to start packing right? And then I realized, damn, Dwight, you gotta talk to Chuck, and so I still I still got to pack and get out of here. Fortunately for me, they gave me a late checkout, but yeah. Okay, so let's finish with this. You said that you would recommend it to somebody who wanted to get started.
Mhm.
Would part of that recommendation be what role would the fighting play in that recommendation?
You
How
meaning?
how would yeah, like I mean it's all fighting,
Mhm.
right? Like you said. But I'm wondering in your approach, because I'm really the reason why I want to come back and talk to you again is because I want to know what how you how you think, right, about these
Mhm.
things. So it's martial art,
Yeah.
it's fighting.
Yeah.
But obviously, with the AARP group, it's not about finger jab to the eye and kick the groin and what have you. So how is fighting approach with them? I want to see if
Got
I'm
it.
onto
Okay.
something.
All right. So regardless, people want to be capable, and the capability of training to be able to protect themselves and their loved ones is the paramount thing. Like what Guru Nasano says is the highest reason for training to fight is love, love for your family, love for your culture, love for your tribe, all that. So you can't get away from being the most capable version of yourself
Yeah,
as possible.
yeah,
So, uh, does my 7-year-old, elbow, knee, Puja Kapala? 100%. Yeah, they do. Because A, it's physically good for them to get their heart rate up and they get their body moving.
mhm,
Number two, it's mentally good for them to run through not only the hows, whys, and what ifs if we're training a scenario, or if we're looking at system structure and function of like why this is done, why this was done this way. So it's an intellectual process too.
right,
And again,
right.
again an emotional growth process of we do hard things. And the great, neuroscientist Andrew Huberman will talk about different parts of your brain lighting itself up
Yeah,
when you are challenged and frustrated doing
yeah,
things, regardless of the age.
yeah,
So, yes, the 7-year-old is still, kick, punch, trap,
right.
grapple while doing this. That's what we do.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. So see, I was on the right track because you use the adjectives, the physical, intellectual,
Mhm.
right, and emotional stuff. So
Yeah.
that's what I came to that realization pretty early on, you know. But I I couldn't find colleagues who were thinking similarly.
Hmm.
And so I felt like I felt like I was on an island. I was marooned on an island. So I take it then that both the Sayoc organization and Warriors Way
Yeah.
are fully invested in that totality of development, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual,
Yeah.
intellectual, all
It's
that.
a yeah, it's a holistic approach. And
Yeah,
again, like Two on Harley was from, the Gibson Academy, Mr. Gibson's line.
right.
And that is, I will, use what I learned to develop myself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. As using martial arts the way to achieve these goals. Um, I just butchered that, but I butchered that quote, but it is, I will develop myself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Yeah,
And having the ability to push yourself physically to intellectually analyze these things and intellectually problem solve
right.
while keeping your ups and downs of the emotions within the fight, without the fight, you know, is key because the biggest fights you're going to have is not going to be you know, the people on the subway or even civil unrest or anything to that effect, is how is your training going to help you deal with the, you know, death of a loved one and the stresses of that, a bankruptcy,
Right.
a accident, a you fill in the blank there.
Yeah.
Because where is your level of stress inoculation? And that is only coming from hard training. And now hard doesn't mean stupid. So it's not, you know, so people who are, there's probably someone commenting there going, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. But is go out there, seek to do hard things with good people and develop yourself. So you are now immune to the stresses. Now, you can't do that negligently. And there are great people and great coaches out there that can help you do that. I like to say I'm one of them. Two on Harley is obviously one of them as well. But the overall thing is, how is your training going to prepare yourself for all of the things that life will throw at you? Because nothing will hit you harder than life. And if your training is not addressing certain aspects of the physical, mental, and emotional side, you need to, you know, expand your training repertoire.
Well, my friend, that was an excellent way to wrap this up. But I will be reaching out to you again because there's a lot more that I want to talk to you about. And I'm gonna come at you next time with some Andrew Huberman type questions.
Okay.
Hey, Chuck, thank you so much for agreeing to do this on relatively short notice. And I'm sorry I have to rush you, but they're gonna send the cops after me if I don't clear out of this hotel room.
Well, that's a real thing. And plus you got to go train, which is also
Yeah,
equally important. So
yeah,
make sure you you know, you give Guru my best, give
will
Guru
do,
Joel my best.
will
And
do.
you have I think you have a couple of my buddies out there with you too. You have Deneen and Doris out there.
I got D and other D.
Yeah. Don't you know, you keep an eye on them. Keep an
I
eye on them.
will. I will. All right, my friend.
All right. It's
You
been
take care.
wonderful. Thank
Okay,
you,
talk to you
sir.
soon. All right, man.
Bye.